Nothing like starting off with a bang. In 1867, Alfred Nobel accidentally discovered the dynamite. It started when Nobel cut his finger on a piece of glass one day at work and subsequently applied collodion in order to perform a protective layer over the wound, similar in principle to liquid bandage. Nobel was kept up at night by the pain in his finger, so he started to think about a problem he was having back at work. Nobel was trying to create a powerful explosive using nitrocellulose and nitroglycerin, but the two would not combine. Nobel realized that collodion, which he used during his dressing, could allow the two substances to combine, which finally gave birth to dynamite. Every time a person crunches into a potato chip, he or she is enjoying the delicious taste of one of the world's most famous snacks, a treat that might not exist without the contribution of inventor George Crumb. In 1853, George Crumb was told by a dissatisfied customer that his French fries were too thick and soggy and not salty enough. Being the head chef at Moon's Lake House Resort in Saratoga Springs, Crumb had too much pride to ignore this type of criticism. To teach the picky pattern a lesson, Crumb sliced the new batch of potatoes as thin as he possibly could and then fried them until they were hard and crunchy. Finally, to top them off, he added generous heaping of salt. To Crumb's surprise, the dish ended up being a hit with the customer and a new snack was born. The Saratoga chips, as they were called, remained a local favorite until a salesman named Henry Lay, sounds familiar? He spread potato chips, popularly known as Lays, throughout the southeastern United States. In 1905, 11-year-old Frank Epperson tried making soda pop, then a popular drink, by mixing soda water powder and water. Accidentally, he left the soda out on his porch all night. Temperatures dropped so low that the next day, young Epperson found the soda pop had frozen with the stirring stick in it. He didn't know it then, but he had accidentally concocted the very first popsicle. It wasn't until 18 years later, in 1923, that Epperson remembered his invention. Then he applied for a patent and started selling Epsicle ice pops in different fruit flavors. Later on, his kids started referring it to as popsicle, and ever since it has been hard to resist the refreshing urge of this tangy summer treat. The story of Newton and falling apple contains some small serendipity. Sir Isaac Newton was once sitting in his yard thinking and enjoying a cup of tea when he noticed an apple fall from the tree. The apple fell straight down, perpendicular to the ground, and Newton found himself wondering why the apple never falls upward or off to the sides. Newton soon realized that it was a property of all matter to have an attractive form, including the apple and even the moon, which moves as one would expect if it was passing the earth, but nevertheless being attracted. The psychedelic nature of lysergic acid diethylamide, also known as LSD. When Swiss chemist Albert Hofmann began working for Sandoz Laboratories in 1929, he was on a mission to map the uncharted territory of compounds derived from a fungus called ergot. Hoffman wanted to examine the properties and the stability of these compounds to gauge their potential as medicine. He produced one derivative called LSD-25, but the component wasn't particularly interesting to other scientists and physicians at that time. 5 years later, Hoffman decided to look at LSD-25 once more. While producing the component in 1943, Hoffman claimed he was interrupted in work by unusual sensation. Hoffman somehow accidentally ingested the substance, placing him in an intoxicated and stimulated state. After leaving work early to go home and lie down, Hoffman claimed to perceive fantastic pictures and shapes within. Intense kaleidoscopic play of colors. Hoffman had accidentally discovered the effects of one of the strongest psychic drugs in modern times. Although Hoffman experimented further with the drug and pushed its use in medicine and psychiatric settings, he was not thrilled to learn that people were abusing the drug recreationally in 1960s. As a result, he resorted to calling the LSD his problem child. Those who are still not aware of the old and famous tale of Sir Alexander Fleming and his accidental invention, here is a flashback. In 1928, a Scottish scientist, Sir Alexander Fleming, was studying Staphylococcus, the bacteria that causes food poisoning. He turned up at work one day and discovered a blue-green mold that seemed to be inhibiting growth of bacteria. He grew a pure culture of mold and discovered that it was penicillin mold. After further experiments, Fleming was convinced that penicillin could not last long enough in the body to kill pathogenic bacteria and stopped studying it after 1931. But he restarted some clinical trials in 1934 and continued to try to get someone to purify it until 1940. The development of penicillin for the use of medicine is attributed to the Australian Nobel laureate Howard Walter Florey and Ernest Chain. They shared the Nobel Prize with Fleming. Call it serendipity.
I don't believe in luck as such. I believe that hard work is the one that makes the person achieve his ultimatum. Like say example Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein took time off his work and then he wrote the paper. And that paper which he wrote, a quantum theory, is like still the most famous theory in the world of physics. And it has made him achieve such a success that is not something that everyone can achieve. You know, many of people actually are working, but still they never took time or nothing, luck happened for them. It was just pure hard work that he worked so many days in the lab and then he achieved it. Yeah.
There are many people who work hard, but out of them only few are successful. So there is a luck which differentiates them with the others who work hard. So I believe that luck will play an important role. So that